One of Africa's biggest poetry festivals is underway in Lagos in Nigeria. The Lagos International Poetry Festival, which runs for 4 days, features poets and writers from across Africa and Europe. CGTN's Deji Badmus has more.
We are dodging death every evening.
Busisiwe Mashlangu is one of over 50 poets and writers headlining the 2019 Lagos International Poetry Festival.
Why won't you wake up?
For this 23-year-old, this form of literature is more than wordplay and rhymes. It's a means of conveying a powerful message and correcting ills in her society.
What I want to do with my poetry, I want to build language where I don't have language, for the things I don't have language for. Like if I want to talk about shame and I don't know what shame looks like, I use images for that because words are not enough. So what I do with my poetry, I want to paint, I want to color, I want people to be able to see the things I'm talking about, not just hear them.
Because the road is flooded.
Unlike Busisiwe, who traveled all the way from South Africa and is a first timer on this stage, Chika Jones, a Nigerian, is a more familiar face at this poetry festival. The part-time poet and digital marketer uses his poems to highlight diverse issues in Nigeria, covering several subjects.
I have a couple of themes that are pretty constant in my poetry. Violence against women, I talk about that a lot. The Biafran War, I talk about that a lot. Then there are also some smaller themes, like rain, like love. I talk about those things too. So it depends on what I'm thinking about and what I feel is important for people to know.
The festival is the brainchild of Nigerian poet and literary artist Efe Paul Azino. After years of sharing his poems on stages across the world, he sought a way to get other literary minds to do the same. He then came up with this festival, which goes beyond stage presentations.
We started in 2015 because at the time there was basically a flowering or a resurgence, of poetry, of literature, and of the arts generally, particularly on the global stage. We had Nigerian artists doing amazing things all across the world. And we wanted to create a platform, to celebrate that in Lagos. And poetry particularly because it's been a fantastic time for poetry, across the continent. Almost every city you go to, you can find an open mic spot where, young people particularly gather to vent, to express themselves, to address the issues that affect them as they see them. And we thought it would be interesting to create, a global platform to celebrate that.
You know the women of whom I speak. They bed and break bread with demons under the sun.
Nigeria is home to some of the most popular names in African literature, but the art of poetry seems to be on the decline, with fewer people taking to the art. Organizers of these events say the festival is projected to help change the narrative and get more people to appreciate poetry.
So we're looking at having a Young Writers and Creators Lab where we bring established writers and authors from across the world, in touch with younger people who are basically trying to find their own voice.
Often considered the oldest form of literature, poetry has been used to shape thoughts and reflect culture. The Lagos International Poetry Festival will wind down with an exchange program involving poets from Nigeria, South Africa and the United Kingdom. This, the organizers say, will help bridge racial gaps and minimize differences in dialogues. Deji, CGTN, Lagos, Nigeria.